The read now from Joe Perowski. Joe, of course, a former Gulf Oil CEO. So, Joe, you know the rap and the concern against Tillerson, close ties to Russia as a big oil producer and Vladimir Putin in particular, and that this could be a deal breaker. What do you say?
Well, I think Rex Tillerson's an outstanding choice. He is a man of high character, high ability, who's managed an organization of 75,000 people on a worldwide basis, who's taken that company from $60 stock when he took over to an $89 stock, paying a 3% dividend every year to many shareholders, including many of those 75,000 employees. Yes, he's met with the Russians a lot and he's dealt with them, but I find that to be a positive. I mean, the only person, I think, American who has met more times with the Russian officials than Rex was Henry Kissinger, and I don't think anybody's questioning Henry's capability or bona fides.
Well, I guess what raises it in this case, Joe, is the fact that in Tillerson's case, he would be Secretary of State. He's come from an industry that has benefited from that relationship, and he might be remiss to try to do anything to jeopardize that. Do you think if he got the position, and he is still the odds-on favorite if appointed to get that position, even with this dust-up, that he should show that he is willing to take on Russia? Can he take on Russia?
Oh, I know Rex, and he will take on Russia. I mean, I think, unfortunately, he's in a difficult position because I'm sure the left will kill him no matter what he does. I mean, if he takes sanctions off of Russia, that they will accuse him of trying to benefit Exxon. If he leaves sanctions on, Russian production will collapse in a few years. It's already on a slippery slope because of the sanctions, and they need lots of capital to keep their industry going.
Well, you say that, Joe, and the reason why I mention that, though, is you think about it, he's been critical of these sanctions, and Donald Trump, when running for president, says we're not being tough enough with the Russians. So those two seem to be at loggerheads on as to how to appropriately deal with Russia going forward. Do you think that Tillerson could and would take his boss's stance and double up on those sanctions, get tougher on those sanctions? Could you envision him doing that?
I think he'll do what's in the interest of the American people. I mean, his public statements have been that embargoes and sanctions are very ineffective, and I happen to agree with him on that, having watched, our grain embargo of Russia firsthand when I was an executive at a grain company in the 70s and the 80s. So sanctions are not an effective way. It certainly is hurting Russian production, which would drive up the price of oil.
By the way, what do you make of the price of oil right now and how it continues to sprint ahead? I mean, at around $53 a barrel, how much more momentum is here for this type of thing?
Oh, I think we'll be 75 on WTI by the end of this year.
By when? I'm sorry?
Oil, by the end of the year, we'll be at 75.
The end of this year?
Yes, the end of this year.
So we have another $22 to go in the next few weeks.
Well, I think oil is very bullish. Demand is back in the U.S. rather strongly. World demand is up. There are supply problems apart from the OPEC agreement.
Right.
Venezuela is a basket case. Mexico's production is falling off the cliff. Russia is struggling to meet production quotas. So I think there's and China's demand is strong, and their industry needs a lot of capital to develop their shale formations, especially in the South China Sea.
Interesting.
So oil, I think, is strong. What I really worry about in the U.S. is a lot of independent refiners are struggling because of the RINs, which is the renewable fuel mandate, and having most of the refiners have gotten out of their downstream distribution. So the small refiner, the small and independent refiner like Philadelphia Energy, PBF, Western Refining are all in trouble. And we need more refining capacity in the United States So I think that will have its effect on refining margins and on refined products, which will be stronger. So
well, that would be a big jump, Joseph. We'll watch it. Thank you. In the meantime, very good talking to you.